The television show Gilmore Girls revolves around young single mom Lorelai Gilmore. Lorelai has been a hard worker since a young age and has been successfully supporting herself and her daughter. Lorelai begins by working as a manager for the Independence Inn. However, after the inn is ruined in a terrible fire, she follows her dream to start her own inn. She partners with her best friend and chef, Sookie. Throughout her time as a mother and a CEO, Lorelai displays many characteristics of a strong leader. In this project, we are going to apply the leadership theories learned in this course to scenes from Gilmore Girls. In this first scene, we will be discussing what makes a good leader, what makes a good follower, and how leaders can best encourage their followers. In this scene, you're going to see Lorelai having a rather heated argument with her friend and business partner, Sookie. Lorelai feels as though Sookie has not been pulling her weight as a partner and that everything has fallen on her shoulders.
You did. You said you were going to meet him to approve the sink and sign for it?
Oh, Tom could have done that.
No, Sookie, Tom couldn't have done that because you insisted that you had to approve the sink before it was installed.
I did? Oh, I did, didn't I?
I was counting on you. Now they have to reship it back here, which means we have to repay the shipping fee. Sookie, for the past 6 weeks, I have taken every meeting. I have been at the end, round the clock. I haven't had a second for myself. And all I asked for was just 1 hour to get my hair done. And then 2 seconds into the shampoo, I get a phone call from a guy who sounds like a Kids in the Hall character telling me I have to get to the inn to okay a sink that I wouldn't know how to okay because I don't know what makes it okay. You know what makes it okay, which is why you said you would be there to say whether or not it was okay.
Look, I said I'm sorry. I missed the meeting, but I have a baby here.
We have a business we're trying to launch.
I missed a meeting.
Every meeting.
I said I'm sorry.
I don't need you to be sorry. I need you to be there.
What do you want me to do? Look, this isn't the stuff I'm supposed to help with anyhow.
What are you talking about?
The planning, the decision making. I've never been any good at that. My part comes later, when we open the inn.
I need you before then.
I'm doing the best I can.
Fine. I have to go.
So, what exactly makes Lorelai a good example of a leader? I found that the quote, "Managers are people who do things right, and leaders are people who do the right thing," to be very applicable to this scene. As a manager, the right thing to do would be to punish Sookie for failing to perform her duties. As a leader, Lorelai chooses to drop everything she was doing and, to the best of her ability, get done what needed to be done. She chose to sacrifice her personal needs for the needs of her company and her team. In this scene, Sookie is being a passive follower. Smud describes a passive follower as someone who projects little original thought or commitment, relies heavily on supervision, meets the minimal expectations, and may possess a small skill set. As the leader, Lorelai has to confront her passive follower and express her desire for more effort. Sookie, the passive follower, responds by saying that, quote, "her part comes later." This directly relates to the small skill set portion of the definition. Sookie also puts little thought and commitment into her role, as she doesn't even show up for any meetings. An article titled "What Every Leader Needs to Know About Followers," published by the Harvard Business Review, refers to followers that are passive as bystanders. The article states, "Bystanders can drag down the rest of the group or organization. They are perfectly aware of what is going on around them. They just choose not to take the time, the trouble, or, to be fair, sometimes the risk, to get involved." The article also offers suggestions for leaders on how to deal with such followers. It reads, "The key is to determine the root causes of their alienation and offer appropriate intrinsic or extrinsic rewards that may increase their levels of engagement and ultimately their productivity." In this second clip, we are going to be looking for how does a good leader handle a crisis, and what are the various types of leaders? In this scene, Lorelai is dealing with the aftermath of a fire at the inn. She was awoken in the middle of the night and immediately rushed to take control of the scene.
Structure stable. Thank you.
That's okay.
The statue of you is going up just as soon as we get back in. 80 feet tall.
I'm looking forward to it.
Here we go, guys. Phase 2.
Loving the pace here.
We need food. We need computers with internet. We need phones. Michelle, I need you on this stat. Hurry, hurry. Rory,
Yeah.
help the guests with the kids. Make sure they're not freaked out. Gather them up and entertain them for a while so the adults can catch their breath. Fortunately, you can't get your stuff out for at least a day. However, if you want to get home immediately, we will check planes, trains, whatever you need. We will send your stuff to you later as soon as we get it. But if you can't get home yet, we will provide everything short of anything illegal. And that's going to start with the best breakfast of your lives. Suki, go to the market and get whatever food and supplies we need for breakfast. Go.
As a leader, there is a possibility that you will have to deal with a crisis. It is during stressful times such as these that a person's true colors begin to show. Thankfully for Lorelai, she handles the situation with ease. I would describe Lorelai as a mix between a task-focused leader and a charismatic leader. She speaks with authority while divvying up tasks to her team, while also remaining lighthearted and cracking a joke. She even makes the fire sound so fun that guests who were previously going back home decided to stay the night instead. Smoot says that task-focused leaders are primarily concerned with getting the job done and done on time. Meanwhile, charismatic leaders are seen as especially gifted leaders who possess and exude self-confidence and competence. They are also described to be highly inspirational, visionary, influential, and enthusiastic leaders. In an article published by the Harvard Business Review titled, "How a Good Leader Reacts to a Crisis," they list a series of steps leaders should take in the midst of a crisis. Let's see if Lorelai can follow these suggested steps. Step 1 is to figure out what is going on and assess the situation. Before addressing the guests, we see Lorelai speak to the head firefighter to obtain details about the state of the situation. Step 2 is to act promptly, but not hurriedly. The article says, a leader must provide direction and respond to the situation in a timely fashion, but acting hurriedly only makes people nervous. We see Lorelai perform Step 2 by instructing her team in a quick but calm manner. Step 3 is to manage expectations. Lorelai tells the guests they will not be able to go back inside tonight, but she will find them other accommodations. Step 4 is to demonstrate control. The article reads, a leader puts himself or herself into the action and brings the people the resources to bear. Lorelai ends up offering up her own bedroom to guests affected by the fire. Step 5 is to keep loose. Lorelai keeps her statements to the guests lighthearted and doesn't allow her personal demeanor to falter. In this third scene, look for what makes a good team and how does a leader handle conflict. In this clip, we see Lorelai and Sookie in the midst of a catering job for a children's birthday party. Lorelai has successfully planned the event, and she becomes upset when Sookie has failed to perform her task of making food for the kids.
Did you make any?
I'm not stupid.
I never said you were stupid.
You know, I booked this gig. I'm the one who came to you and said, hey, you want to cater a kid's party with me? Here's the children's food for the children's birthday party, okay?
What is that?
It's macaroni and cheese.
Kids aren't going to eat this.
Nuts.
Because it's green? We talked about this. I mentioned hot dogs and pizza puffs and chips. I told you to make popcorn balls. Where the hell are the popcorn balls?
You were serious about that?
Here. Go to Dozie's, okay, and get like 5 boxes of frozen mini pizzas and 5 boxes of those pigs in a blanket and all the chips you can find. And then go to Weston's, get a couple dozen cupcakes, and have Mamie give you a couple of big bags of Jimmy's, like chocolate, rainbow, whatever.
What are you doing?
We'll have them decorate their own cupcakes. They'll love it. Okay, go.
Smud describes a conflict as a clash between at least 2 people or parties who perceive each other as negatively affecting something the other cares about. Lorelai performs the functional behavior of explaining to Sookie that she needs to think of the client. Sookie takes the dysfunctional behavioral approach of yelling at a child that interrupts their conversation. According to an article posted in the New York Times titled, How to Build a Successful Team, suggests that as a leader, it is important to ensure that you are being heard. The article says, once you have a simple plan, you have to keep reminding your team of the priorities, even if you feel repetitive. People often have to hear something a few times before they truly remember it. If Lorelai had been clearer and more direct with her instructions, perhaps this conflict could have been avoided. Now, let's apply civil discourse to this scene. Civil discourse is the act of listening while remaining truthful and productive. It is not about explosive anger, performative action, or agreeing just to be polite. To engage in civil discourse is usually the harder choice. We watch as Lorelai let her emotions and personal relationship with Sookie get the best of her. The way in which she initially reacted with anger was not representative of healthy discourse. However, the way she was honest, pushed forward, and created productive solutions was highly representative of civil discourse. From this analysis of Gilmore Girls, I believe that we have learned a lot from Lorelai about what it takes to be a great leader. She consistently puts her company's needs above her own, deals with mistakes made by her partner Suki, and even handled an intense crisis. However, like all of us, she also has room for growth. There were moments when her emotions got the best of her, and there were times where she could have been a stronger communicator. Overall, I believe that Lorelai has many strengths as a leader. She is a great fictional example of a strong working woman for viewers to look up to.